Good morning and hello again. This is Michael Ware with the Iowa Firearms Coalition, and we have today a different kind of guest than anybody we've had on before. I'm really tickled to be able to visit with Kyle Van Winkle from Listrak, and that's Listrak.com. So when we just spoke for a few seconds before we got rolling here, Kyle, this is going to be a little bit different in that I think you're going to be able to pull back the curtain for us so that we can understand what's going on as buyers, and you're going to be able to help retailers too. So let's hop right into you explain your hellos and explaining what Listrak is.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Michael, first and foremost, thanks for having me on today. I appreciate the opportunity to come in and share the work we've been doing in the 2A space, particularly to help brands and retailers continue to grow. So as a quick introduction, I'm Kyle Van Winkle. I head up the 2A sector here over at Listrak. So I work with a number of our clients in the industry to really enable them to give their customers a better online experience through digital marketing. So think things like SMS, email marketing, behavioral marketing. Our goal is to empower those brands to have the same level of sophistication that the customers might see elsewhere. Things in like the apparel sectors or sporting goods, wherever else they're shopping. And so we've been doing this for the greater part of 20 years, and we're a privately held, family-owned business that's also veteran-owned. And so I think that's really where in our DNA, we've had so much advocacy and support for the 2A space and being able to help these brands grow.
So when you talk about brand growth, what you're really talking about is reaching customers. You're reaching me. Okay. You're reaching my customers by extension, but you're reaching them in meaningful ways. And I think everybody listening to this would tell you, I have had plenty of spam email. Now I'm getting spam calls and spam texts. So I want to be contacted, and I want to be contacted about things that I care about, but I don't want to be contacted about other things. So how are you threading this needle for your customers and by extension theirs?
Yeah. So I think it's a great question, because I think everybody that's passionate and enthusiastic about an interest or a lifestyle wants to hear about it, right? They want to be able to get on. They want to be able to experience content from brands that they're interested in. They want to be able to understand products that they're interested in. And I think for a long time, people just did it really poorly. And to your point, Michael, it's coming out, we're getting spam emails, spam texts, spam phone calls consistently. And so one of the things that we want to do for our clients is to really help them understand a customer at a person first level. We want to understand, what are Michael's interests? What does Michael purchase from us? What is Michael potentially looking to purchase from us, so that we can serve you the most relevant content, whether that's the products that fit your needs. Maybe it's content about those products to help you through that decision-making process. Or ultimately, maybe it's after you made a purchase from your favorite brand or retailer, being able to get relevant content to be able to help support the purchase that you made. Maybe you bought an optic, you want to be able to come in and understand how to set that up, how to site it in. Those are things that we want to help those customers, again, have the most optimal experience to be able to then continue that relationship with a brand moving forward.
Okay, so is Listrak helping a retailer? Let's call it a gun shop. Okay.
Yep.
So is Listrak helping a gun shop with the quality and content of their current communication? Or are you setting up new lines of communication, or both, or what?
Yeah. So we're doing a little bit of both, right? So in the instance of a gun shop, somebody's coming and they're potentially perusing their website, right? Maybe they're going in store, they're providing some type of identifier, whether that's an email address, a phone number, saying, hey, I'm Kyle, I want to hear from you. I'm interested in what you have to say. So I think that's first and foremost. We're not contacting folks that aren't explicitly saying, hey, we're interested. We're telling people, if you are interested, we want to help get them the right content. And so that example of a gun shop, somebody might come to a website. You might see something like an incentive pop up where someone's coming and you're providing an email address, a phone number to say, yeah, you know what, after this experience, I want to continue to learn about your newsletters, your offers, your updates, new product launches, all that great stuff. And so what that's essentially allowing the brand to do is start to own that relationship. They know Michael's in the system. They know what Michael's interests are because of the information that we're picking up and we're collecting. And then through behavioral-based automations, things like abandonments or triggers, we're able to start delivering timely communication to you based on your explicit interests. So if you're looking at 9mm ammo, we want to send you more information about 9mm ammo versus shotgun shell. You may not even have a shotgun, so you may not care. The goal here is understand that customer and what their preferences are, and all that's happening on the back end of a website that's allowing these brands that we work with to be able to more effectively market those customers. One of the things that we're seeing, Michael, is the industry's in a bit of a downtick this year, right? We have Republican leadership, which typically creates less urgency for buyers to go out and make purchases from these brands. So they're trying to figure out ways to build stronger relationships with the customers coming and create movement. At the end of the day, for anybody watching, it's as simple as saying, hey, our goal at Listrak is to take a buyer from a potential state to helping them get to the point where they feel confident in making a conversion in a product they're interested in, and then being able to support that relationship.
This may sound odd, but I think the question needs to be asked, or at least it's on my mind. And when I think about these things, just to give you a little insight, because you and I haven't coached each other up. We popped onto this, we met on this online studio, and here we are. So I own a custom gun shop, and I'm also been a long-term volunteer to Iowa Firearms Coalition. So when I think about this, I'm thinking about this from a few different takes. Number one, I'm thinking about this as a retailer. Number two, I'm thinking about this as an advocate within a single issue advocacy group. But I'm also thinking about this as a consumer myself and as a member of the Iowa Firearms Coalition. So from the premise of a member or a end user / consumer, should I be doing anything that places me in the right category and out of categories I don't want to be in? Do I have anything that I can do like that, or is that a silly thing to ask?
No, it's a great question, because I think, again, we're getting so trained from this consumer standpoint that we want relevancy. We want information that pertains to us and where we're at in that journey. So one of the biggest things I would urge customers to be able to do with their favorite brands, retailers, shops, whatever they're looking at, is if you're interested in that content, engage with it. If you're going in and you're seeing some type of acquisition where you can provide an email address and you want to learn and you want to hear more, make sure you're taking a look at that and actually opting in to be able to receive those communications. Conversely, if you're not interested in it, it's okay to opt out, right? We want to make sure that all the clients within our system that our clients are marketing to are engaged subscribers that want that content. I think, without getting too techie here, one of the big challenges is a lot of folks in the industry, in nature, right? It's very protected, and there's a lot of restrictions that these marketers are facing, trying to make sure that they're getting the customers the best experience. They can't advertise on the paid advertising channels. They can't advertise on Meta properties. They can't advertise on the Google customer matches. So really their lifelines to market to the folks that are interested in their product is email and SMS. A lot of folks won't even do SMS for these clients because of the rules and regulations that go along with it. But again, that's something where we really advance and accelerate the growth of the industry. So a challenge that they're starting to see is around deliverability. Google, very strict algorithms. Once they start seeing any type of 2A products flying across the inboxes, they get a little finicky and they'll start to flag spam a little bit more heavily than folks in the other industries. So if you want to support the shops that you care about, the brands that you care about, if you're not interested, the best thing you can do for them is opt out of their program, because then that's going to allow those algorithms to make sure that they're continuing to get inbox placement so that customers that are engaged and interested are actually going out and being able to see the content that these folks are trying to deliver.
Kyle, you have no idea. I shouldn't say that. I'm sure you know better than anybody how this works. But at IFC a few years ago, our membership management software that we had used forever was so poor, and they were so anti-Second Amendment, and they treated our customers, essentially our membership, if you will, so poorly with what services they would provide and how they would service us so that we could service our membership. We had no choice but to leave and find a different membership organizing software. And in doing so, our tether to these people, our primary method of routine communication, which was email, was severed. And we had to start over someplace else. Yes, we took our membership information from one platform to another, but then we sent from the new platform emails to these people saying, here we are. And before we did that, we sent a whole series of emails on the old system saying, hey, we're going to make a change. Be looking for us. If you don't see us, then come look for us over here, right? We tried to mitigate that as best we could. And what we end up having happen is we had no way with the new system to reach them, not because their emails were different or anything else, but what the delivery was from a different origin than what email filters had been used to, and we were locked out. It's been horrible for a few years to get in touch with people that we've been in touch with for a decade, and I don't know how to bridge some of those gaps without just making sure that I'm touching membership other ways and saying, hey, make sure that you're connected to us still, and if you're not, come back over here and do that, because as you say, with the filters that some of these platforms have, it's been horrific to get in touch with our people. It's been really, really bad.
It gets really, really difficult. And I think, again, it's kind of the resistance to the industry that's preventing you from being able to do that type of stuff. We've seen it a lot. I mean, I've been doing this. The whole way I got started in heading up the 2A sector over at Listrak was working with a major ammunition retailer out of Florida back in 2019. We actually went down to visit with these guys. And what essentially happened, Michael, was they were on a platform. They had 3 different vendors for 3 different technologies. Because they were 2A clients, one day they just decided, we don't want your money anymore. And so they shut them off immediately and they just terminated their contracts. And so it left them essentially stranded without any way to continue to communicate with their customers. Typically, email and SMS for our clients is generating upwards of 50% of their total e-commerce revenue. And so when you think about the hit that that's taking to a business and what it's going to do for the longevity of that business, it's crippling. And so we said, hey, look, we know that we can support it and we can ensure that these customers are having a home, having a place where they can continue to manage those relationships with people that, again, are enthusiasts about the space. We want to be able to ensure that they have the technology. And a lot of folks, again, I'm sure watchers and yourself are familiar with the term Silicon Valley. And so when you have these PE, VC-backed companies, it makes it really challenging for them to be able to take a stance and say, hey, we support this industry. We want these clients. And so it really limits the technology available to marketers in the 2A space. That's, again, working with probably 100 of the largest enterprise 2A brands. We also work with about 900 traditional retail customers, enterprise retail customers. And why that's important is we're giving these 2A brands the same technology that your brands outside the industry are available to. We're not handcuffing them or restricting them based on what they can do and how they can engage those customers. It's really about empowering and enabling them to be able to have an enterprise solution that's going to help them continue to grow their business in the industry overall.
Well, I think that these are really important conversations for us to have. And the reason I say that is, and I'll harken back to the question I asked earlier about what should we be doing as consumers? Because the fact of the matter is, when I check my email, when I see these things come through, there are ads or emails or touches that I get that I really, really prefer. I mean, when I see this, this is the subject line, I open it up and I'm like, not only is this a really good deal, the deal is real. I should be doing this. Oh, by the way, maybe I should pop on social media and say, hey, I got this in my inbox. I don't know how long this 5, 8 or 10 or whatever it is cases of ammo are going to last at this retailer, but this is a competitive price. You might want to go do this. I mean, those are very valuable things, and I will appreciate those, and I want to share them with others. And then, as you know, there's all kinds of stuff that comes in. I'm like, oh man, I'm spending half my day clicking buttons to delete crap that I don't want to look at. So I want to opt into some stuff that's valuable and pertinent to me, Kyle. And then there's other stuff. Do I care about hair care products?
Right.
I do not, so quit sending me stuff, man. That's my wife's email address. I don't want anything to do with that, So, I mean, that's why I ask if there's something that we can do. And I think that you're right. There's a lot of people that see content and they prefer it, and they will never like or subscribe or go to your website and click the sign me up. They won't do any of those things. I don't know why, but we should probably be smart enough or basic enough to encourage them to do that. You couldn't watch a YouTube video there for a while without hearing like, subscribe, hit the bell, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And it's so cliche, nobody even bothers saying it anymore. Oh,
right.
By the way, you should like and subscribe to this channel if you prefer IFC's content so that we can remain connected to you. So thank you, Kyle. I probably wouldn't have even thought to say or do that, but we do need to do that. So what else do we need to know about Listrak? I'm sorry, I chased a rabbit. My bad. Go ahead.
No. I think it's a great rabbit to chase, because I think at the end of the day, the goal is to help the industry grow. And we know, I've been to a lot of conferences, a lot of shows, talked to a lot of leadership at these brands. And what they're seeing is it's a huge time of transition in the space. It's trying to figure out how to get new potential customers interested in the industry. It's time to get customers that are already interested and enthusiasts to be able to further their relationship with these brands. And so I think right now it's more relevant than ever. I was at a conference earlier this year down in Florida again, and they talked about kind of the death spiral that the industry's in right now. It's really declining. I mean, we saw a huge uptick during COVID. There was a lot of uncertainty. There was a lot of inventory purchase. There was new shooters coming into the space. And so we saw a really big boost in the industry. And now we're starting to see that tail end of that, or that normalization of the market. And so for us, what our mission is to be able to help brands better understand how to serve customers. Because I think so many times, and I'm sure you've had the experience, Michael, where you go on and something's annoying, it's irrelevant, back to your hair care analogy there, where it's not pertinent to you. I encourage any brand, right? Whether you're an enterprise, 2A brand, whether you're a local gun shop, is to figure out ways to connect with your customers at that one-to-one level. I think that's what makes the industry so special, is having the ability to go in and have those genuine, authentic relationships with your customers. The same translates over into the digital format. It's how do you really understand your customers? How do you welcome them into your place of business, and then show them an experience that ultimately correlates to that, so that it's not just another scroll by email that you don't engage with, but something that they're excited to see. Again, something that they want to click on, something that they want to engage with.
Well, when you talk about customers, you're talking about, commerce, whether we like it or not. What IFC has been doing, and you probably know this, IFC has set up basically a value-added membership proposition where we've said, listen, if you become an IFC member, you're going to be opted in to, or you're going to have the option rather, to take advantage of all these discounts. So we have a trusted partners program on our site, iowafc.org, and you can go there and you can see all the people that collaborate with us. And by extension, these people are offering IFC members discounts on services or free things or tangible goods, whatever it may be. And sometimes that adds up to a heck of a lot more in terms of real dollars than the cost of their membership even. So depending on what you're going to do or how you're going to do it, you're nuttier than squirrel poo if you don't take advantage of these kinds of things. Yeah. I mean, for example, I had a guy pop through the other day. Oh, I'm going over to Brownells to spend $2,000. Well, great. Are you an IFC member? No. Well, you should be, because if you were, you could take like 10 or 15% off or whatever it is. Oh, no kidding. I'm like, yeah. I said, you'll save $200 by spending $35 at IFC, because the guy was a veteran. That was his rate. Yeah. And he's like, oh, I should do that. And so that's part of one of the things that we try and do to be value added. Plus, I will also say, Kyle, you're mentioning in this conversation how tough the marketplace is. Well, you need people that you can trust. That's why we call it trusted partners. But I really want to encourage people to do business with people that support them. We could no longer do business with our own software membership people or membership software people. They were a Canadian company, and they were very brash about the fact that they didn't like the Second Amendment, they didn't believe in it, and they didn't want to support us. I mean, right from a tech position, hey, we've got this problem. Sorry, we'll get to it when we get to it, which means we're never going to touch it. And so we don't want to be in business with those people. We don't want to be in a partnership with them. So we encourage people to do that. And so I needed to talk about the trusted partners and encourage people to go to iowafc.org and see those and become a member and take advantage of that. So how does this play out? How does this play out for a gun shop? How does this play out with Listrak and them? What are you going to do for them so that they can get their work done better and more efficiently?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think everybody's looking for operational efficiency, right? They're looking for ways to make life easier. They're looking for ways to, again, automate as much as they possibly can, because there's just not the man hours to be able to go in and establish this. So you mentioned Brownells earlier. Again, if you're going to Brownells, you have the IFC membership, you save some money over there, click on an email, throw some money to their attribution for Listrak as well. They're a valued customer of ours. But I think the idea here is how can we help you further that experience? How can we help automate as much of that? We're hearing a lot of talk today about AI, and AI is living everywhere, where it's taking a lot of machine learning, understanding of human behavior. And so within the platform of Listrak, we automate a lot of our functionality, again, to serve relevant experience, whether that's product, content, trigger campaigns, so emails that may be going out. Michael, you may have gone to a site, forgot you put something in your shopping cart because the door rang or you got a phone call from somebody, and so you got distracted. Being able to send that timely behavioral relevant communication helps nurture customers down. So I would encourage everybody, no matter the size of the brand or the business, to go on and start acquiring customers. Start giving customers ways to opt in and sign up to your program, allowing them to start engaging and seeing the content that you're sending. Once you have a sizable list, once you have folks opting into your program, start to look at ways that you can personalize it. And a lot of it comes down to using a lot of the technology that's available to you to be able to start driving personalization through AI. It helps, again, with lean teams, lean marketing teams generate more revenue by just being able to get customers the right message in the right time with the right content that's going to ultimately help them make a purchase. And lastly, don't stop at the first purchase. I think that's another big gap that we see is when customers do make a purchase, the hardest thing to do is get that second purchase. And so what we found is the average customers you have the highest propensity to get a second purchase from a customer within 30 days of that initial purchase. Crazy enough, the highest window in that 30-day window is within 24 hours of that initial purchase. So when somebody makes a purchase from you, it's not awesome, thanks for being a customer. It's how do you continue to support that? How do you provide accessories? How do you provide ammunition? How do you provide whatever that customer might need as an additional function? And that really allows them to be able to keep that purchase mindset, go back, make more purchases from you, help your business grow, and then also get that customer to continue to train themselves that when they need a product, this is where they're coming, and this is the trusted retailer that they're going to work with.
All right. So how are people supposed to reach you? How are they supposed to get a hold of you? And how do they figure out what the costs are, what the benefits are, and what may work for them versus what may not? I mean, what comes next? We kind of have some idea. I mean, what you do is exceedingly complex on your end, but it's pretty simple on our end. And so how do we get a hold of you so that people can decipher what's going on there and figure out what may work for them? I want to know that.
Yeah. So there's an opportunity to fill out a form submission on our website. So listrak.com. They can go in, they can request information. One of our team members will reach out, probably me, again, if they're in this space particularly, to be able to help support them and work them through that conversation. I think something that we take a lot of pride in over at Listrak is being an ROI focused organization. So we look at what's going to help them move the needle, what's going to help them grow their business. If it doesn't make sense, we'll tell you that too, because again, the idea here is we want to be trusted allies and advocates in the industry. They can also feel free to email me directly. It's just kyle.vanwinkle@listrak.com. And I would be more than happy to dig in and answer any questions that they have or be able to support them with anything that they need. And I would say lastly, we do have a podcast as well that features a lot of content just around marketing. So if anybody's interested from a marketing standpoint, on what they should be doing, what best-in-class strategies are. Again, it doesn't have to be with Listrak. It could be any provider. I can send you over the link as well for the podcast that we support.
Okay. You'd be doing me a favor if you sent me over a quick email, because when we publish this, there will be places where I can add all this stuff to the narrative below so that people can get in touch and use some of these resources. So number one, appreciate that. And thank you. Number two, is there anything else that we need to cover? Because I want to make sure I want to make sure that whether it's IFC's touch on their members or beyond, or whether it's a retailer, a trusted partner of ours, or a to be trusted partner, that they're able to make meaningful connections with the people that they're trying to serve, and those people on the other end want to be connected and handled well. And it sounds like you're in the business of making sure these connections are done well, and then you're shepherding people on how they should handle one another. So what else do we need to know before we go?
Yeah, I would say at the end of the day, Michael, you brought it up earlier. It's finding folks that really understand the industry. There's so many intricacies and rules and regulations that are associated with 2A marketing. You don't just want somebody that's willing to work with them. You want somebody that's invested in working with them. And I think, again, that's where Listrak really shines is we spend so much of our time looking at ways to understand the challenges that these brands are facing, and not just, hey, we'll skirt you in the background and you can still use the technology, but we don't really care. We don't really want to support it. And so I would say that's the biggest call to action for anybody that's looking at it is from a retail perspective is find somebody that's trusted, find somebody that understands your challenges and pain points, because the advice and guidance that they can provide is going to go a long way in helping you guys continue to flourish. From the consumer side, I would say, when you've come across brands that you're interested in, engage. Just take a look at their content. If you see emails, take a look at what they're sending. And don't be afraid to give feedback on it. I think that's one of the biggest things is a lot of these marketers that we work with are looking at benchmarks. They're looking at activity and engagement. So are they generating revenue from what they're doing? Are people engaging? Are they opening it? Are they clicking through it? And so if you really are pleased with the content that you're receiving, don't be afraid to follow the journey and work your way through it. You're going to typically find a lot of better deals and incentives if you're going through email than potentially that you'd see on site. So keep an eye out for those names. And if you don't happen to see somebody in a while, check your spam folders, see if they happen to end up in there, and then unflag it as spam. That's not only going to get you back in and engage with those contents, but it's also going to help their reputation on that inbox placement. So there's a bunch of different things, but mostly just continue to explore, continue to provide your information if you're interested, to be able to, again, keep those lines of communication open directly with those different retailers. And there's going to be a big transition in the way they're approaching marketing. And I think they'll be excited to see the relevancy that they'll see in their inbox to what their interests are.
Fantastic. You answered the question that I asked. I appreciate that. Not everybody's willing to do that these days. So, Kyle, I appreciate that. Now, just for everybody's edification, that's listrak.com, listrak.com. So that's listrak.com. Check them out. Of course, everything's going to be listed in the narrative of wherever you're watching or reading this or seeing this, rather. And we appreciate that. So, Kyle Van Winkle, thank you for your time today. I appreciate it. And you guys pay attention. I sense that the folks at Brownells would not be using Listrak if it wasn't valuable for both themselves and the people that they're trying to serve. So I think that this is legit. You should be paying attention. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Michael.